Jamie, a very good afternoon to you. You never get the perfect performance in football, but my goodness, last night wasn't far off. Just how impressed have you been with this England team so far?
Well, you can't be nothing but impressed, watching the progress through the tournament and also the tough moments that they came through. Obviously, the game before, where I think it was up against the Spanish, where it was, really tough in terms of getting on the ball, got the late goal, then used that momentum. And yesterday, when you look at the scoreline, it was an emphatic win, a great performance. But you just think of that chance early on for Sweden, where it could have gone so different. And these are the fine margins that can change it. So to come back from sort of a little bit of a shaky start to produce what they produced in the following sort of 88, 89 minutes was outstanding.
And Wiegman's getting this performance from the entire squad, but is there one player in particular for England so far who's really stood out for you?
Oh, it has to be the captain, Leah Williamson. I think she's been brilliant, I really do. I know there's been a lot of goals and a lot of people getting the headlines, and maybe I'm a little bit biased looking and watching centre-backs a little bit more than other positions, but I just think everything starts with her at the back and getting on the board. I think the way the game's become now a lot more technical, I think she's a huge asset for England in playing from the back and stepping in and breaking lines and getting the ball into people between the lines and causing the opposition problems. And I think in the final, whoever England come up against, you can talk about the attacking players who've obviously got the goals. Beth Mead being obviously the standout in terms of leading the Golden Boot race, but I think in terms of stopping England, I'd be looking trying to stop them playing out from the back and trying to get after Williamson a little bit, because I think she starts so much, from that area, and it's a real joy to see.
And Jamie, as a man who likes a dabble or two in social media, no doubt you saw that social media last night was lit up not just with the result, but also that Alessia Russo goal that's going to live so long in the memory. Probably the Swedish goalkeeper, in fairness, won't want to see it too many more times, but as a piece of skill, what did you make of that goal?
It was one of those wow moments when you're watching a game, aren't you? When you've watched so many games over the years that I wouldn't say what's going to happen, but when you watch something that you're just not expecting at all, and it was just wow. You have to get on the Sky Plus and rewind it, keep checking what's really happened if you've seen what's happened. But it was a brilliant moment for her, and one of those, I think, goals that we'll look back on, and possibly right now, one of the goals of the tournament, if not the goal of the tournament, certainly one of the moments of it as well. And I think it just shows the confidence England got, as the game went on, and that really sealed the victory, that one.
And Russo's record is pretty impressive. Not just that goal last night, but 8 goals in 12 games for England. Yet she's only started 1 game. And you think what would be happening if this was the men's squad doing this kind of thing in a finals and one player was on that kind of run of form? There'd be a huge clamour in the media for them to start the next game. You look at Wiegman and how she tends to manage these players. Can you see her starting on Sunday, or will Wiegman tend to stick with the same starting 11?
I think she'll start with the same starting 11. She doesn't veer away from that too much. And I always say this, when you have a player who comes off the bench and scores, the problem is that they're coming off the bench and making an impact. So as a coach, you think, well, that's the role this player has in the squad. We can always sort of, throw our joker on, if you like, later on, and the opposition are expecting something to happen. The home crowd can get a lift because you think, Russo's coming on, and you normally get to go, and it lifts everybody. So I think the biggest problem for Alessia Russo is the fact that she actually scores so many goals from the bench may actually stop her from starting the game, really. So I don't expect too many changes, but as I said in the final, Russo comes off the bench, I think it'll give everyone a big lift, and everyone will be pretty confident she can make an impact in the game.
And Jamie, you know how it works. It's moments like that. It's the goal scorers that tend to grab the headlines. But you need the platform on which to play in the way that England have been, particularly last night. So on that note, how impressed overall have you been by the defenders and by the goalkeeper, Mary Earps?
Well, I just think of the goalkeeper, Leah Williamson, before, and how cool they are on the ball. And Millie Bright as well at the back is also, really cool on the ball. But she's like my type of defender, like a little bit more, where she puts her head on things, puts her body in the way of things, and she won some really big headers I've seen on set pieces. And at times through this tournament, England have maybe had a few problems on set pieces in terms of, like, it looks like the opposition could get something. But so often Millie Bright's got a head on the ball, and that's what you need as a defender. You can't have, just someone who just is on the ball. You need to be able to defend as well. And I think that partnership at the back between Bright and Williamson is almost like a perfect match, really. They're almost completely opposite, but they complement each other so well.
And all of that means Sarina Wiegman's now taking this England side into a third major final. It's been a long, long wait, 13 years, but they are in a major final once again. And there's a lot of talk amongst the players and also more broadly about the winning mentality that Wiegman has brought to this squad, to this team. Is that what stands out for you and gives you hope heading into Sunday?
Well, she is a winner. I mean, she's won this competition before with the Dutch, and I think her last 11 matches at the European Championship, she's won them all. So the belief that will give the players, going into the biggest game of their lives, really, that they've got a top coach who belongs at this level and has done this before. So that, I think, will give great confidence to the squad going into the game. Obviously, you've got home advantage as well. Sometimes that can go for you or go against you as long as the pressure doesn't become too big. But I think how the team have coped with the home advantage, they've maximised it. I think in this tournament, and the fact they have a serial winner in the coach on the sideline should give them huge confidence.
And finally, Jamie, you know how it works. Whenever England get to this stage of a tournament, the inevitable question has to be asked for England's women: is it coming home?
I think finally it's coming home, yes. Eventually, after so long that we've built that up so often in major tournaments and come pretty close, as we know, with Gareth and the boys a year or so ago. So I think it's finally coming home. We'll be able to sing that song, hopefully on towards the latter hours of Sunday night, with a trophy in our arms.